We're going to learn a few things about layers. Might sort of recognize this from where we left off last time. There are some big changes in Photoshop CC 2019, so I'll have to give you kind of a reference to how it was done and how it's done now, much to my surprise. So here we have layer one. And I want to show you the hierarchy of layers. I want to show you how to fill layers and how to transform layers and name layers. So let's start out and copy. So the first thing is, if you want to copy, one way to copy is drag it into the little icon next to the trash can. There's a copy. Another way to copy is to go to Layer, New, Layer via Copy, which is Command J on the Mac and Control J on the PC. So now we have 3 copies. That's enough. Let's start by filling this with a color. I'm going to go over here and pick a blue-green and go to Edit, Fill, Foreground Color, OK. And then I'm going to turn off the visibility and make sure I go on the layer below it so I can fill that with a color. And I'll get a nice hot pink. Picked it off the swatch. There it is. And I'm going to go to Edit, Fill again. Foreground color, OK. Turn off the visibility, which is the little eyeball there. Go to the next layer. And instead of picking a swatch, I'm going to show you the color picker. If you click this little chip here, it brings up the color picker. Here's where you find the hue. And then here is where you can pick the color. So I'm going to pick a green. And the keyboard shortcut for filling is Command on the Mac and Control on the PC and the Delete or Backspace key. I'm sorry, Option Delete. That's right, or Alt Delete. That's the foreground color. The background color is Command Delete or Control Delete. So Option Delete gives you the foreground color. So now we have these 3 colors. I am going to, because I want to show you the hierarchy, these are all the same size, so which you can only see the one on the bottom if the 2 eyeballs are off. So there's something called Free Transform that will rotate and move and size all in like with this one command. You can do them independently under Transform, but if you look under Edit, there's something called Free Transform right here. Now, it used to be, see, this is a bounding box. It used to be that you had to hold the Shift key and grab a corner to maintain the aspect ratio. Well, that won't work anymore because you don't need to hold any key. It will maintain, it defaults to maintaining the relationship of the width to the height. If you don't want it to do that, you can hold the Shift key. And see, you can make it a completely different size. So that is a pretty significant change. If you've been working with Photoshop for a while, it's going to be like, huh? I mean, you often want to maintain the aspect ratio. The other nice thing used to be that you could hold the Option, Shift Option or Shift Alt on the PC and size from the center. Now you can do that, just hold the Option or Alt key and it automatically sizes it from the center. Just the one key. You used to have to hold Shift Option. So that's how you change it. So now it automatically maintains the aspect ratio. So I'm going to make this kind of small. And then I'm going to click this little check mark and say, I'm done. I'm going to turn on the eyeball for the pink one. Click on the pink one so I can resize it. I'm going to go to Free Transform again, or Command T, Control T, and I'm going to resize this one. And then I'm going to, instead of clicking the check mark, I'm going to hit the Enter key on the extended keyboard. Then I'm going to go up here to the blue one, turn on the eyeball, Command T because I'm on a Mac, and I'm going to make this one, let's see, I'll hold the Shift key so I can make it kind of a little oddball shape there. So then I'm going to, I think you can even hit the return key. Yep, the return key now works for that too. So I've got these three shapes. If I go to my move tool, which is here, and I happen to be in my move tool, see the little icon. This is very important. Notice your cursor. There's the move tool, this sort of cross-like icon with an arrow. So notice if I move the blue, it goes across the top of the pink and the green. If I move the pink, oops, I have to make sure I have the pink. There. If I move the pink, it only goes over the green because it's below the blue. This is how the hierarchy works. And the green happens to be behind everything. If I want the green in front, all you have to do to move a layer or change the hierarchy, grab it, hold down your mouse button, pull it up to the top. Now the green is in front of everything. I'll do the same with the blue. The blue is in front of everything. So that's how you change the order or the hierarchy of the images. The other thing that's really a good habit to be in is to name your layers. We only have 3 here. It's not that big a deal. You can look at the thumbnails and see what color they are, what size they are. The checkerboard, by the way, I didn't mention this, means there's nothing back there. That's why we can move them on top of each other. I'm going to double click, call this, I'll call it cyan, call this one green, double click, green, and pink. So there's that, our beautiful imagery. And you can go ahead and play around with that, different shapes. We're going to get into selections next, so you can make different kinds of shapes like circles, organic shapes, and things like that. So I want to show you more of the selection tools in our next lesson. But I want to show you how to save this. I'm going to go to, since we haven't saved it, we can hit the word save. I tend to always go to save as if I haven't saved it once. And I did not save this. I saved it once, but I want this, I'm going to put FIN after it, or better yet, I'll put version 1, and I'm leaving it as a .psd. That's the format. Whenever you see a layered file, it's either a .psd or it's a TIFF. None of the other formats support layers. I work mostly in Photoshop, which is .psd. It stands for Photoshop Document. So I'm going to save that into my images folder. This is layers 001 version 1. And we'll probably come back to this to add other shapes. So I'm going to save this. And there's this maximize compatibility. I recommend you always do it. You can change this in preferences. We can go back there and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Don't show again. Click OK. And that's your first layers lesson. Layers and transform and hierarchy and all that good stuff. Okay.